Hey guys, I'm back again with a brand new video for you all, and this time we'll be talking about top teams that we can use for the Open Ultra League. And yep, from today GBL weekend is starting, so we'll be getting 20 sets per day. And yep, we are getting Elite TM, so be sure to check out the new tasks there. And be sure to check out my best Great League teams from yesterday's video if you're playing Great League for the GBL weekend. And should I come up with some Catch Cup teams as well? Let me know in the comments if I should come up with Catch Cup teams. Me personally, I think I'll be doing Ultra League and a little bit of Great League for the GBL weekend for a lot of battles per day. And as it is Thursday and Friday, and these 2 days of the week, we always talk about the top teams that we can use for different leagues. So yep, it's gonna be Ultra League today. So let's talk about the best teams for the Ultra League, and without any further ado, let's start the video. Talking about team number 1, Pidgeot in the lead and Registeel and Annihilate. I'm using this team currently, so yep, this is a very fine and balanced team. Got me to over 2700s. And talking about this team now, it a little bit struggles against things like Galvantula, and if you find Galvantula in the lead, then I don't swap. I'm like, honestly, I don't swap because a lot of Galvantula leads run Mandibuzz and Jellicent in the back. They'll have Jellicent at the back. So I just stay there, throw the Brave Bird and die, and then come in with my Registeel to soak all the energy. I play like that. So, and a lot of people also use like Tentacruel at the back. So Registeel at the back can be very good if you find Galvantula in the lead. And plus with shields, Annihilate can destroy Mandibuzz and Jellicent both if you've got Ice Punch. But you've always got to shield those aerial aces, and you can tank one aerial ace. And Shadow Ball from Jellicent and Shadow Ball from Annihilate is going to be super effective against Jellicent as well. And yep, that's how we play with this team. And other than those things, this team is pretty much fine. Like if you find Alone Sandslash, you can just save swap into your Registeel. And if you find Giratina, stay. If you find Tapu Fini, stay. If you find Cresselia, stay. If you find something like Fire Flyers, Talonflames, and if you find Charizard and Skeledirge, you can just stay. And yep, a lot of Cobalions and Virizions in the lead as well, you can just stay. And Poliwrath in the lead, just stay. Annihilape's in the lead, just stay. And Charmers in the lead, just stay. That's how you're gonna play with this team. This is kind of cool team. Yep. And moving on to, and by the way, again, I'm telling you this, the order, team number 1, team number 2, team number 3, it is like randomly, I put them randomly there, and it is not like team number 1 is the best team. It's not like that, it's just random. And yep, moving on to team number 2. Team number 2 is going to be A/Shadow and Double Water, that is Tapu Fini and Poliwrath. Now with Tapu Fini and Poliwrath, you got a very good coverage of Fairy and Fighter, and both with water, so it's gonna be cool. And talking about the fighters like Annihilate, if you find Annihilate in the lead, you can just come in with your Poliwrath, right? So yeah, Poliwrath is still gonna lose, but safe swap doesn't mean you need to win that matchup. And they are gonna swap at some point, being them Annihilate. And yeah, both the Pokemon at the back are weak against Ampharos. So A/ is not great against Ampharos, but it can fight. And what am I missing? Stuffs like Charmers, you can just stay, and Giratina, you can just stay in the lead if you're A/ in the lead. And yeah, if you find Talonflames and Charizards, you can just safe swap your Poliwrath. And there is like, even though this team has double water, there is not a lot of core breakers, right? So a lot of top meta teams like Cresselia, Giratina, Registeel, Feraligatr, Annihilate, this team can handle all of those, right? We got a Fairy, we got a Fighter, we got Ice, we got Steel, we get Water for those fires. And yeah, this team is pretty balanced, and I like this team. In fact, I have played a couple of times with this team, and like, gave me good results. So moving on to another team, and yeah, this team is also in PV Poke recommendations, I guess. Yeah. Moving on to another team. Team number 3 is going to be Greedent and Guzzlord and Tentacruel. Now, okay, ABA weak to Fighter, Greedent in the lead, and you got Guzzlord at the back with Tentacruel in the middle. right? So if you find Annihilate or even Poliwrath in the lead, you can just stay with your Greedent, right? It's not like it can tank a lot of those counter fast moves, even though it's weak against them. Like no, even though if it's weak against Greedent, and yeah, you're gonna do good with this team. And you can also run Tentacruel in the lead and Greedent and Guzzlord at the back. That would be A, B, B, and yeah, you can just the idea here is neutralize the situations with Greedent in the lead, and you got at the back one weak against Fairy and one strong against Fairy. So one weak against Giratina, one strong against Giratina, and Dragon Breath Giratina would be a little bit of a problem. But yeah, this team is pretty strong, and this is a very popular team. A lot of players are using this team, and yep, I'm yet to try this team, but I will try this team. And I have not kept movesets of the Pokemon in the screen. If you guys have any confusion regarding the movesets, you can just comment. You can just ask me. I'll reply every comment, and you can just join the Discord and ask me there. I'll be available anytime. And moving on to another team. Team number 4 is going to be A/Giratina and Jellicent. Very strong team, but weak against stuffs like Greedent. So if you got Shadow Claw, Greedent is going to be good against your A/, and Giratina kind of struggles in Greedent, and also Jellicent struggles against Greedent. So that can be a core breaker for this team. But other than that, this team is very strong, and we got to do some teamwork against those Greedents, right? And obviously run Shadow Claw on your Giratina rather than Dragon Breath. You can also try Dragon Breath, but yep. Like idea of this team is A/ is weak against stuffs like Skeledirges and Talonflames, and you got Jellicent and Jellicent and Giratina at the back, right? If you see those things, you can just safe swap into your Giratina. Giratina is gonna be your safe swap for a lot of times, but like if it's something like Tentacruel or okay, if it's Tentacruel, you don't need to swap it. A/ wins Tentacruel in the lead. Something like Greedent, then you can just come in with your Jellicent as a safe swap, because they will be having Tentacruel, and a lot of them will have Tentacruel if they've got Greedent in the lead. That's how you guess your opponent's team, right? And yep, our fellow content creator, YouTuber Taffy Star reached to Legend 2 seasons ago with this exact team in the Ultra League. Yep, and this is a very strong team. So moving on to another team. Team number 5. Grass, Water, Fire. And we also got flying coverage there. We also got fighting coverage there. Right? We also got that coverage for Cresselia and Giratinas with that Shadow Claw and Crunch from a Feraligatr. Now, look at this team. Talonflame and Feraligatr at the back is weak against Ampharos. Right? And Virizion does very good against Ampharos, so in those scenarios, it's ABB against like Ampharos or Electricity. So both the Pokemon at the back are weak against electric types, and Virizion can do good. And like if you find Ampharos, they are gonna swap, right? So you can just judge what they are bringing as a safe swap, then accordingly you can bring in your Feraligatr or Talonflame. And yeah, Feraligatr and Talonflame both can be good finisher, and Feraligatr is a very, very strong safe swap as well. Very, very strong safe swap. Unless they bring in their Poliwrath against your Feraligatr. And even if you've got Poliwrath against your Feraligatr, if you have energy lead, it might be a little, it's still gonna be tough, but a little advantageous if you've got a lot of energy lead in your Feraligatr. Because Shadow Hydro Cannon, even if it's going to be resistant, it's going to do quite a bit of damage, right? So yeah, this is a very balanced team. And if you like, Feraligatr and Talonflame both have the ability to beat things like Ampharos, and Virizion being a little weak against Ampharos. Not Ampharos, I'm sorry, Annihilate. I'm talking about Annihilate. We have already talked about Ampharos, so we will be talking about Annihilate. Like both the Pokemon at the back have ability to beat Annihilate, not Ampharos. Talonflame cannot beat like Ampharos. I'm talking about Annihilate, sorry. So if you find Annihilate in the lead with your Virizion being a little weak against Annihilate, Feraligatr and Talonflame at the back can do good, so you can safe swap either Feraligatr or Talonflame. I suggest you go for the Feraligatr safe swap. It's gonna put a lot of pressure at your opponent. So yeah, this is a very strong team. Moving on to another team. It's gonna be Feraligatr, Shadow lead, and A9 and Trevenant at the back. So, alright, this team is weak against fire at the back. A9 and Trevenant, right? So we got Feraligatr, the water, to cover those things in the lead. And use Shadow Feraligatr. Shadow Feraligatr is just OP. And think about Poliwrath. So if you got Charm in your A9, then both the Pokemon at the back, Trevenant and A9, can do very good against Poliwrath. Feraligatr struggles against Poliwrath, so it's a very like balanced team. And talk about Annihilate, Feraligatr struggles, and both the Pokemon at the back, Charm does a lot of damage, neutral, and Trevenant can do good against Ampharos. I'm talking about Ampharos, right? Not. Why am I being confused between Ampharos and Annihilate, man? I'm talking about Ampharos. So Feraligatr is weak against Ampharos, so Trevenant and A9 can do good against Ampharos. You gotta shield one Brutal Swing from Ampharos against your Trevenant, or else you're gonna be good. And man, I get confused with these names. That is why I put a nickname for a lot of those, man. Like X for Excadrill. And yep, I'm kind of excited for the GBL weekend. Let's see what happens. And yeah, this is moving on to another team. It's gonna be team number 7. Skeledirge, Tapu Fini, and Registeel. Alright, so again, pretty balanced team. If you find Poliwrath in the lead, it's gonna be a little tough. You gotta shield the Scald, and you're okay with your Skeledirge. You gotta shield the Scald. Counters are resisted, and Incinerators are resisted too against Poliwrath, but you can always build up to a Disarming Voice, play like that, or you can just get one shield and then tank a Scald and soft lose, and come in with your Tapu Fini. That can be good because Registeel at the back is also going to be weak against Poliwrath. And if you manage to take a shield from your Skeledirge in the lead against Poliwrath, then Zap Cannon from Registeel is going to do a lot of damage in the in-game against Poliwrath. And yep, you got to do some shield plays there. And yeah, this team is going to be cool. And if you find Giratina, you can just save swap into your Registeel. And yeah, you're kind of good to go. Ampharos, you can just stay and play in the lead. And Annihilate and Poliwraths, I've already talked about that. And what are we missing? Yeah, it's kind of cool. This team is going to be very, very strong. And moving on to another team, it's going to be team number 8. The triple meta team, like triple boss of Ultra League. The 3 beasts, Cresselia and Giratina and Registeel, triple tank. Kind of like handles a lot of things. Like except those Talonflames and Charizards and Skeledirges, if you find them in the lead with your Cresselia, you gotta stay and kind of you can just soft lose, throw future sights, and then come in with your Giratina, because Registeel is gonna be weak against Fireflies as well, right? And yeah, that's how you're gonna play. It kind of covers anything, like everything, a lot of the things in Ultra League. This is definitely a meta team, and definitely is gonna give you good results if you play like if you play good with this team. This is a solid team. It's a very, very solid team. And the only disadvantage of this team is if they see your Giratina and Cresselia, opponent is gonna guess you've got Registeel at the back. And if they see Cresselia and Registeel, they're gonna guess you got Giratina at the back. That's only like a disadvantage of this team. This is pretty good team. And moving on to another team, it's going to be again Double Water and Ampharos, Poliwrath, Tapu Fini, and Shadow Ampharos. Now, ABA weak against electric types. Like if you find Ampharos in the lead against your Poliwrath, then you can just stay. I always stay against Ampharos leads with my Poliwrath while running this team, and we've got this team video in our channel as well. And yeah, you can do some neutral damages with the Icy Winds and counters against Ampharos, and you can just shield once, and you can sometimes grab shield from your opponent's Ampharos, and that's how you're gonna play with this team. And yep, no clear answer against Ampharos, but this team really works. Trust me, it's a very strong team, and kind of like covers a lot of the things. Like if you talk about Feraligatr and Annihilate, and if you talk about Registeals, Giratinas, if you talk about even Chrysalias, right? You gotta do good with this team because Tapu Fini can do good against a lot of things, and Ampharos with that dark coverage, with that dark move, not the coverage, just the move, but it's got dark coverage, right? With the Brutal Swing, can do good against Crystalia, Giratina, everything. And yeah, it's a very strong team. Moving on to another team. Team number 10, it's going to be Mandibuzz, Registeel, and Tentacruel. So again, a very similar team to Greedent, Guzzlord, and Tentacruel. Slightly different. We got flying coverage there, and you're gonna just like if you find Annihilate and Poliwrath, you're gonna just do good with aerial aces. You can tank a lot of those counter moves, a lot of those like Icy Winds and Ice Punch as well. So yeah, and if you once the fighter gets out of the way, Registeel is gonna do wild. And if you think about Swampert, Mandibuzz can do good against Swampert, and both the Pokemon at the back is weak against Swampert. So yeah, this is a very unique kind of team, but yeah, pretty cool team and very strong team. This was recommended in PvPoke previous season, I guess, last season. Yeah, I checked it out and I tried this team. Mandibuzz, trust me, Mandibuzz, level 50 or level 51. Mandibuzz is beast in Ultra League. It can survive, like, even if you find Galarian Stunfisk, you might have chance to win Galarian Stunfisk with your Mandibuzz, even if it's a flyer, even if it's a G-Fisk is a steel, because you're gonna tank a lot of rock slides. Mudshots aren't doing anything. And yeah, that's how you run this like team. ABA weak against things like Steelix, but there aren't many Steelix. Like Tentacruel with Scald, Landing Scald can do good against Steelix, and Registeel does good against Steelix. So yeah, this team is kind of cool. Mandibuzz is weak against Fairy, and we got double good answer against Fairy, Poison, and Steel at the back. That's how this team is gonna run. It's a very, very strong team. And that is it, guys. Those were the top 10 teams for the Open Ultra League. I hope you like the content, and if you like the content, please leave like and comment and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much, guys.